How are we all doing? Good, great, or brilliant? Brilliant. You guys are getting pretty practiced at this, I have to say. I start every seminar with that. How are you doing? Good, great, or brilliant? And the reason I do that is because I want to get across the message. You really do get to pick just how and who you want to be. And people don't feel they have control over their own lives, but we do. We have far more control than we would like to think that we do, because sometimes that means we have to accept responsibility for where we are and where we're not. And tonight what I'm going to try and show you in 2 hours, in 2 hours is how you can have a life beyond your wildest dreams. Fair enough. And we're working with Ian Whelan tonight. Ian is going to record this. Ian is one of the country's top cameramen, and he makes a lot of documentaries. He's from Fireworks, and he's in here to record this. And the reason I want to do that is I genuinely want to try and help. You guys are coming back. You've all been with me before, but I'm also aware there are people, and for one reason or another, they can't get to BodySlims. And it was somebody I met the other day in a shop, and she actually said it to me. She'll be nameless. It was down in your shop, Michelle, and she said, I would love so much. She sees all the results that all the people are getting. I would love so much to be able to go to BodySlims, but I can't. I work Monday night and I work Tuesday night. And they're the only nights I'm here. So I decided I'll put this up online. 2 hours. 2 hours to give you a life beyond your wildest dreams. And what's happening right now to the people online? What are they doing? What are they saying to themselves? Will I answer that? Would it be easier for me to answer it than you? What they're saying immediately is, well, on the one hand, you're saying, I can have a life beyond my wildest dreams, but on the other hand, there's a cat playing the banjo. This is 2 hours, that's 30 seconds. I gotta tell you, the cat is winning here. The cat is winning here. It's really bizarre. Every single person in this room wants to change something in their life. At least one thing. Maybe a lot more. Everybody wants to change. But nobody is too comfortable to take the action. It's not just the people online. It's not just the people who'll be watching this online. We know after a number of seconds, people are going to start clicking off things. Have you got the answer? Can I have it in 6 seconds? No, can I have it in 60 seconds? How many people have bought products? 6-minute abs. Do you remember that? You can work out for 6 minutes a day and you can have a chiseled washboard stomach, like absolute nonsense. But that's what people do. We want it. We want it right now. We invited, I don't know how many people that went out to the same email that has you here tonight. And you read it, and you read it one way, and you said, I'm going to move heaven and earth to get there tonight. Now somebody else, they read the same email. And they got caught up. I would love to go, but what's he promising? A life beyond your wildest dreams, okay. But I got to work late. I got to hand in that report. I got to get this into the office for Smithers. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. We're in a thing called stimulus response all the time. And most people don't ever take the time to design the life they want to have. And even fewer will take the action. It's going to be a recurring theme of tonight. Opportunity has always been there, and you have just missed it. People miss it along the way. It's not that you're unlucky. It's not that you don't catch the breaks. It's that other people, they just operate slightly different to you. But what we're going to try and do tonight is we're going to try and change all that. We're going to try and unlock your latent inner power. And that is how, hopefully, we're going to be able to develop for you a process by which you're able to manifest a life beyond your wildest dreams, because that's what we're actually going for. Now, it won't surprise you. You guys have done BodySlims, and you've seen the results that we get. You have seen the incredible weight loss. You've experienced it for yourself. You've seen the change in people. You've seen how happy people are at the end of it. You've seen the fitness. You've seen the energy that people are getting. And the truth is, at the end of BodySlims, people always come up to me and they say, you know, they're incredible results, they're super. And I know sometimes we get people we put a video on at the end, and we get them to describe their story. And they'll say certain things, and they will be able to very eloquently explain it, where you go, how do you feel? How do you feel about your new shape? And people go, oh, I can't believe the shape I have. And then we'll say, how do you feel about your weight? And they go, oh, it's fantastic. And then we can say, what do you think of Jared? And they'll go, he's a lunatic. But he's okay. He's all right. And they explain it. They talk about it very, very well until we come to one particular question. And we say, describe BodySlims. And they go, and they can't put it into words. They actually can't put it into words. I need you to remember that. It's the first thing I'll ask you to write down in your notebook tonight. Couldn't put it into words. And the other thing I'll say about the words is, your words seem to stay in my head. Long after you are finished talking, your words seem to stay in my head. What's that about? What this is about is a process that I'm going to try and show you tonight, and it's a process that I'm reasonably proficient in. On BodySlims, I do this for you. On BodySlims, I do this for you. And you guys, the one criteria for all you guys here right now is that you've already done BodySlims. So, as I'm talking tonight, you're going to think back. And you're going to think back to things that I said, and things that I did, how I said them and how I did them, and you're going to actually go, aha, that's why he said that. Aha, that's why he did that. It's going to join the dots for you somewhat. So, when I bring people to BodySlims, as I say, I do it for you. I actually do it for you, but I want to give you more. And this really is one of the strongest things that I have. And this is the gift to manifest pretty much anything that you want in your life. And I say pretty much anything because maybe you want to be taller. Not going to work so well with that. Maybe you want to win the lotto. Well, that's slightly out of your control. But pretty much anything you want. Now, on BodySlims, the reason I do it for people is when I became in any way skilled at this, one of the early books that I read was a book by a guy called Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill wrote a book, and I wasn't particularly interested in money. It was a book called Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the biggest selling of these sort of books. And I read it, not because I was looking for money, but I kind of read everything that was out in this sort of area. And he did something I thought was incredibly cruel, absolutely incredibly cruel. Napoleon Hill wrote this book. In it was supposedly the formula for getting rich. Now, my guess is that a lot of the people who bought that book, they bought it because they wanted to be rich, because they weren't rich. So he decided, I won't tell you what the formula is. You have to work it out for yourself. Only those worthy of getting the formula will be able to find it. I thought that was appalling. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. I mean, if somebody's in the water and they're drowning, if somebody is in the water and they're drowning, I would prefer to throw them a lifebuoy with a rope and pull them in. Napoleon Hill's idea was that he was going to throw them. Teach yourself to swim in 12 easy lessons. it's not really going to be that helpful as you're going down for a third time. So, on BodySlims, I pull all the levers for you. I communicate with the part of you. That's why my voice stays in your head. That's why we get the results that we get. That's why you're so motivated. That's why it's so different, because of this skill. And I'm going to tell you tonight how you can apply it to different areas of your life. So, the first thing I'll say, actually just before we go into it, let me say one thing. Knowing anything is great. So you can be here right now, and you can be listening to this, and at the end of it, you could come up, or you can be online, for the guys online, hi Ian, for the guys online, you can be saying, I agree with you. That really makes sense. That seems so logical to me. That's really, really good stuff. And it will not change your life one iota. Not one iota. However, if you apply it, it will change your life completely. It will be a complete and utter game changer for you. But you've got to actually apply it, not just hear it. It's not about the knowledge. So what I'm going to tell you to do right now, and I've said it to you before, when you were on BodySlims, and you guys know, I tell people, dare to dream. Dare to dream. That's what I tell people to do, isn't it? Dare to dream. And the second part of that is that you can have pretty much anything in your life that you wish for. Pretty much anything in your life that you wish for, if you're able to create the dream. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So if it's that easy, it's a fair old question, isn't it, for you to say, if it's that easy, how come we're all not doing it? Well, the truth is we are all doing it, but we're just not doing it right. And probably the best way for me to explain this is the best people at dreaming are children. They're children. And children are absolutely wonderful at creating a dream. And we encourage children to dream till they get to 14. But while they're children, they dream. Now, if you're online and you're looking at this, you may, at this point, if you have any children in the room, you may actually want to get them out because of what we're going to talk about. Because what we're going to talk about is Christmas. Christmas. So, let's imagine, if you will, we've little Johnny. And Johnny is, I don't know, 5 or 7 years of age. And we say to Johnny, we're going to ask him his dream, but we do it in a different way. What do you want from Santa, Johnny? Now, Johnny thinks for a moment, and Johnny goes, oh, do you know what I'd love? Do you know what I really want? Do you know what? I'm going to write this letter to Santa, and I'm going to send it to the North Pole, and I'm going to tell him this is what I want. And what I want is, I want Robbie the robot. Oh, Jesus. Robbie the robot. Now, he is giving a communication. What is going to happen next? The next part of the process is she's going to be elbowing her other half, going, Robbie the bloody robot. Where do you get Robbie the robot? It's a week before Christmas, Robbie the bloody robot. Go and find out. Google it. Start Googling. Start finding. Now, he comes back and he goes, they don't have them on Amazon. They don't have them on any online site. Where are they? The only place they are, there's an old toy shop down in Ballyboffey. And it doesn't open till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. They have 10. And what's she going to say? Why are you still here? Why are you still here talking to me? So, what's going to be the action? Well, I have to work out where the hell Ballybough is. I've got to work out where the hell Ballybough is. But once I know that, jump in the car, drive down, all the way to Ballybough. Get there at 7 o'clock in the evening. Shop doesn't open till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. You better get in the line. You better stand outside that shop in case other people come in. There's only 10 left. And you would. You would with knobs on. You could be forgiven for thinking you were in America. If the rain was coming down and the wind was blowing, would you stay there to get the toy for that child, for your child? Would you do it? Yeah. Absolutely you do it. It started with a dream. And it was how the dream was communicated. Now let's change the communication. Everyone can do this, but let me tell you how we do it in our real life. We say to little Johnny, Johnny, what do you want for Christmas? And Johnny says, I'm going to ask Santa for a surprise. And she says, go down to Smith's and get him a surprise. And he comes back with a Barbie. And she says, what were you thinking? You got him a Barbie doll. Why would you think he wants to play with the Barbie doll? But what did he ask for? Well, he's bloody surprised now, isn't he? He's shocked. In other words, we delivered the brief. That was what I was asked for. That's what I did. And that is what I'm going to explain to you tonight, is what's happening to you all your life. You already have this skill. You're already proficient in this skill. The only problem is how you're communicating it. Because you're always getting what the genie, that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, thinks that you want. And that's the place where the magic happens. So let's make this real for you. Let's make it real, because up till now, I've just said a few things. I've got 2 hours to change your life. I'm promising you life beyond your wildest dreams. I've told you can have pretty much anything in your life you wish for. Yeah? That all kind of sounds a bit wishy-washy, doesn't it? A bit hocus-pocus. A bit like, is there magic beans here I've got to buy or something? Because, you see, I'd be exactly like you. I'd be exactly like you. I'd be going, I'm not buying this. And that's fine, because I'm not selling, I'm telling. You're all coming on the course, and for you online, I am trying to help you. I am not selling. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm trying to tell you how you can change your life completely by following a simple set of steps. But the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to explain it to you, because I would be where you are, where I'm going, sorry, I don't know where you're going with this. Please explain it to me, because when I explain it, it's going to make sense, at least to some of you, I hope. And from there, you'll actually see how the process falls into place. So we'll move on, and we'll start to try and make it real for you. So to make it real, the first thing that we got to do is we got to talk about something that nobody is comfortable talking about. Nobody is comfortable. I always notice when I say this at a seminar or anything else, people kind of recoil in horror. Sit back, oh God, you're not going to talk about that, are you? And we're going to talk about the brain, and we're going to talk about the mind. Oh, he's going to be using words I won't even understand some of the words. You don't even have to remember any of the words. All you have to do is listen and take notes as you see fit, or as I tell you. So, we'll start. The reason I think we have this aversion to the mind and the brain is, a guy once said, I think it was wonderful, to fully understand the brain you'd need 2. We have neurosurgeons, we have psychiatrists, we have psychologists, we have counselors. We have a plethora of people who all claim dominion over a little bit of it. But the honest truth is, nobody really fully understands it. And this stuff that I'm going to talk about, you've never been taught. You've never learned it. Nobody, very few people even really know about it. Never mind actually practice it. So, you guys have seen primal effectiveness in place. When I brought you in, I told you, you are nomadic hunter-gatherers. Now, we live in a modern world which is not designed for nomadic hunter-gatherers. But we didn't have to put on loincloths and go out to the Serengeti, did we? And start hunting buffalo. We weren't up the Wicklow Hills losing the run of ourselves. What we did was we made a few minor modifications. We made a few minor modifications and adapted them to the modern world. But the weight loss didn't, because the weight loss was fantastic. The shape change was fantastic. That didn't reflect those minor modifications. They look like pretty major modifications, but they weren't. They were fairly minor. And the reason for that, how come we get results which are so good off such minor adjustments? Well, the reason is because we're moving back to the plan, and back to the way we were meant to be. I told you the answer to our future is in the past. And this is actually going to be an extension of that. So we're going to talk about the mind and we're going to talk about the brain. And we're going to start with the brain. And the first thing I'm going to tell you tonight is about something called the limbic brain. The limbic brain. About that size of a walnut. It's the oldest part of your brain. It's actually also referred to as your lizard brain. Your limbic brain has 3, and only 3 primary drives. 3 primary drives. This was like back to the time when we had tails and we were wandering around. That's when this was built, this particular bit of kit, but it's still there today. We still have the same thing today. And the 3 primary drives are, number 1, can I eat it? We see how well adapted we are with that particular one in the modern world. But you know, that was, I want you to remember this. That was, and you can write this down, that was an opportunity drive, okay? An opportunity drive. The second is, can I have sex with it? Now, this wouldn't be your kinky sex or anything. There was no boots or anything like that involved. This is actually just about keeping the species going. This is keeping the species going. Opportunity drive. That's the second. And the third drive, and the strongest drive that you have, is the danger drive. Is this a danger to me? Is this a danger to me? And that's the third of the 3 primary drives. Now,
sorry, you said opportunity twice. So what's the second one?
Second one was an opportunity drive as well. The sex. Were you not listening when I said sex?
There's 3 drives.
Yes.
There's 2 really.
No, there's 3. First one.
Yeah.
Can I eat it?
Yeah.
That's the first drive. Second one.
Can I have sex with
Yeah. Third one. Is it a danger to me?
Okay, but they're both opportunity drives.
The first 2 are opportunity drives. The third one is a danger drive. Who's she?
I thought I misheard you, sorry.
Do nothing but causing problems. I'll move you down the back if you keep this up. They are your 3 primary drives. And they are driving all the time, particularly the danger drive. How many people here suffer? How many people here worry unnecessarily? You see a show of hands? Okay, limbic brain. How many people here suffer from stress? Show of hands? Yeah. Limbic brain. How many people here suffer from anxiety? Yeah. I'm not so sure. I'm stressed, but I'm not anxious. I'm quite posh. No, I'm actually quite posh. Posh people, we just get stressed. We don't get anxious. That's okay. I don't mind what way you want to brand it. People lie awake at night, don't they? Can't sleep. Can't sleep. I don't know whether you were trying to ask a question or were you just going, no, that's me. That's me. Yeah. Now, what's that about? What, Paula? Stop yawning. Now, I'll tell you what it's about. You're not imagining this. You are not imagining this. This is what your brain does. It sends a signal to the genie. We'll talk about the genie in a few minutes. Don't be worrying. You don't need to know anything about it yet. You haven't missed out anything, just in case you're worrying there up the front. Now, what's going to happen is that creates chemicals. It doesn't create thoughts. The limbic brain does not create thoughts. It creates chemicals. You get the feeling. That's why, do you ever talk to somebody who's stressed? I'm really, really stressed. I can't believe. Yeah? And you go, well, calm down. I mean, that solves everything, doesn't it? Words aren't going to count. That person has those chemicals. And what these chemicals are incredibly strong. They're life or death response chemicals. And they have them to situations which are far from life or death. Because the world we live in, well, it's not a life or death situation, is it? What are you stressing about? Well, I'm late for the meeting, or I'm late for work. But you're actually stressing the same level as our ancestors. You're getting the same chemicals that our ancestors got to enable them to run quickly away from danger. You're not imagining it. If we take your bloods, they're going to be full of adrenaline cortisol. You're not imagining it. That's why people can't sleep at night. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be a great idea when you're sensing danger to have a good night's sleep, would it? Anytime I see danger, I get my head down straight away. It's not really a great idea, and I always feel very sorry. I personally sleep like a baby. No, I mean, I really sleep like a baby. I'm brilliant, and I'm going, and I'm flying, until it gets to a certain time, and then I kind of go, I'm tired now. And then I go to bed, and I'm gone. And then I wake up really early the next morning and I feel great. That's me, I'm weird. But, do you ever meet people and they go, oh Jesus, I can't sleep. And you go, well, what are you worried about? You go, well, I said the main thing that's worrying me is that I'm not going to get a night's sleep. You're dead in the water, what can you say? You know, imagine how anxious people become. But they're not imagining it. These are life or death chemicals. They're designed to keep you alive. They just don't fit very well into the modern world. Have you ever been driving in traffic across the M50 and you see a crash at the side of the road? Do you slow down to have a look? You better believe you slow down. Or if you're in the traffic, do you just drive on, or do you have a good goo across to see? Now, you're not a medic, are you? You're not a doctor. You're not going to help. You're not exactly going to make a difference to the situation, but it's a compulsion. In England, they actually have a law. It's so dangerous because people keep slowing down. They actually have a law against it called rubbernecking. You're not actually allowed to do it. You can be arrested for it because it's so dangerous. That is all coming from your limbic brain, and it's all coming from your danger drive. Incredibly strong. Very, very hard to resist. And when we see the eating in the modern world, we actually see how well we deal with that. When we have plenty of food, we're not very good at it. So the next one is we're going to slip to the mind. We're going to slip over to the mind now, and we're going to come away from the brain. And we're going to use the Freudian model. Do you ever meet these people and they go, I only use 20% of my brain. And you go, yeah, I've met you. I'm not in any doubt about that. And what they're doing is they're misinterpreting the Freudian model, which is called the Iceberg Model. 20% of your mind is above the waterline. 20%. And that 20%, you may call it your conscious. And I want you to imagine that as the front of your brain. The walnut is right at the back of your brain. This is the front of your brain, and this is you, as you know yourself. It's where you do your critical thinking. This is where you reason. This is where you process. I'm waiting for the people who are, they're all writing an awful lot. You're not, of course, because you know, you're not writing because you don't believe anything I'm saying. She's going to come back and say, sorry, is it the second drive or the third drive? Now, so we have our limbic, we have our conscious, and the big bit in the middle. The really, 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 really big bit in the middle. The 80%. Subconscious. The subconscious. You can also call it your inner power. Why would you call it your inner power? Because this is where all the chemicals are released. This is where all the levers are pulled to release all the chemicals in your body. It's where all the heavy lifting is done. Your involuntary muscles. It's where what sends all the signals through your body. Keep your heart going. Keep your lungs breathing. Everything comes from this. And this I call the genie. The magic genie. I'll tell you why in a minute. Have you got all that? Yeah? Now, this is the area that I communicate to when I'm talking to you. This is the area I'm constantly trying to communicate to. This is why the words stay in your mind. This is why you feel so motivated. Jackie, you've often asked me, do you brainwash us? No, I don't. What I actually do is I actually communicate with this part of you. And once we learn how to do that effectively, we can have anything we want. So why can't we do it? The truth is, the 3 bits of kit were built at 3 different times. The walnut, that was our lizard brain, we remember that, the tail? That's the earliest piece of kit. The earliest piece of kit. And we then move on to the subconscious, the genie. Well, that was built, we're not exactly sure when, but we know it was built a long time before the conscious as we now know ourselves. See, the subconscious was built at a time before we had any kind of patterns of language. The subconscious was built at a time we were probably still up trees, maybe coming down out of the trees. And then we have a conscious. And the difficulty we have is the 3 systems do not communicate with each other. They do not speak the same language. Try and get that one into your head. They do not speak the same language. It makes sense. They were all built at different times for different reasons. All incredible at what they do, but we're not incredible at operating the system. Now, you could be forgiven for saying to me, why would anybody go to the trouble of making such a complex system, so wonderfully powerful, that it can do all the things that we can do, and then make it difficult for various parts of us to communicate with other various parts of us? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Because it's not something that nature would normally do. Everything I've said to you up till now has been true. Everything I'll say after this will be true. This is a theory. It may be true, it may not. Makes sense to me. It absolutely makes sense to me. See, something has gone wrong in nature's grand plan when it comes to us. Something has gone completely wrong. Like, no species was ever meant to have dominion over the earth, from the icebergs to the sand, to drive other species extinct, to kill all prey animals, all the animals that would have preyed on us, wipe them out. To be able to deforest the world, create climate change, create so many people that we can't even feed them. That was never nature's plan. Nature is always in harmony until it comes to humans. So what exactly happened to allow this species not just to proliferate, but to basically take over the entire world to the point that we may well destroy it? Something crazy had to happen. And this theory, for me, this is just about crazy enough to make sense. And what that is, I think I heard a beep. Somebody's ancestors, they were walking home one day, and we found the young. We found the young of another species. Now, we had a number of options. We could just ignore them. We could kill them. We could eat them. But we did something else. We brought them back with us to our camp. Now, what I'm guessing is maybe they were going, I might eat them later. Maybe that's what was in their mind. But the next day came and they looked at these guys and they kind of went, I don't really feel like eating them today. I don't know why. And the animal, of course, was the great-granddaddy of the dog. He was the wolf. And the wolf, well, he lives in a sociable pack. When you actually look at the hierarchy of a wolf pack and you look at a human tribe as we would have been living, what you find is they're bizarrely similar. They really are remarkably similar, the two. So for some reason, these little guys, they wagged their way into our heart. We really liked them, and they really liked us. Now, everything I'm saying is true. This may not be true in the theory, but what we do know is if you have a dog today, because I know if you don't have a dog, you don't get this. How many people here have dogs? Yeah. Do you love your dog? Yeah? You really love your dog. How do we know? Because when you see your dog, you fill with oxytocin. When your dog sees you, guess what it fills with? It's not that difficult. You're looking at me there like oxytocin. If we measure the dog's blood and we measure your blood, this is two species and it is not a symbiotic relationship. You know, there's things like them birds that live on hippos' ears and they only do it to eat the fleas. Now, if the hippo drowns, the bird just flies to another hippo. Couldn't give a shite about the hippo. And there's little fellas who feed on the shark's teeth. They don't have any attachment to the shark. But these guys really do. This isn't meant to happen. This is not meant to happen, that two species care about each other, genuinely care about each other, in fact, love each other. And as the theory goes, as these little guys came into our camp, one of the things we discovered pretty quick smart was they've got better eyes than us. They've got predator's eyes. They can see everything. I'm going to leave the looking to Wolfie. Can they smell better than us? Actually, do you know what? I'm doing all the work here. Do you want to make a little bit of effort? It's not that hard. Do you think, okay, how many people here are unsure whether dogs or humans have the best sense of smell? Yeah. Do we need to do that? Or when I ask a question, can you bloody answer me? I'm starting to think I went into a morgue. I'm trying to be really nice. Sharon told me to be nicer to all of you. And I've tried it up till now, but I'm just giving up. Right, when I ask you a question, answer. Do you think they had a better sense of smell than us? Yes. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, you can behave when you want to. And of course, hearing was exactly the same. Now, what that meant was, in fact, a wolf can't bark. So our friend even evolved a warning system for us. Don't be worrying about the howling. I'll learn how to do this. Woof, 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 woof. That's all you need. Just learn me 3 different barks, and you're covered, boss. The inner workings of our ear, nose, and eyes, they now didn't need to be quite as big because we were dependent on these guys and created space And nature abhors a vacuum. And it filled the space with our conscious. And our conscious, we're, by the way, in existence about 200,000 years. Language, at the earliest estimation, is in existence 50,000 years. That's the earliest. You think in English, am I right? Yeah? We'll try it again. You think in English, am I right?
Yeah.
Ah, good, you are alive. Now, what that's letting us know is, this front part of your mind, what language does that speak? English. Very good for the 5 of you that were listening. English. But when was this built? When was the genie built? Before language, before we were down from the trees. They don't speak the same language. And this little guy, he doesn't understand nothing. Like nothing. He doesn't even try. That is why people can't get what they want. That is why people can't get what they want. We've got a major communications problem. That's what this is, and that's what we're going to try and solve tonight. That's what we're actually going to try and solve. How do you effectively communicate? Because you do communicate, by the way. You do communicate, but what you need to realize is your genie is all powerful. Your genie creates all the chemicals. But your genie has a number of serious limitations. And the first one, in fact, if you want to think of your genie as being slightly autistic, no, I'm not joking, you'll actually be right. That is kind of how it is. It doesn't have the power to reason. It does not have the power to reason. Tomorrow, well, tomorrow never comes, because when tomorrow comes, it will be today. If you think, for those of you who have a dog, of trying to reason with your dog, no, Fido, I'm not taking you for a walk today, but I will take you for one tomorrow. I hope that makes up for it. He's not really going to process that very well, is he? That's where we are with this one. That's where we are with this one. All powerful, creates everything, but it's autistic in terms of what it thinks you want. What it thinks you want. And you have absolutely no idea how to communicate to it. What you do, in actual fact, rather than communicating what you want, because, by the way, the genie can't understand a negative. Can't understand a negative. Do you know what I do? I'm sick of being like this. This is the same principle as the pink elephant. The pink elephant. Don't think of a pink elephant opening the fridge. Yeah? You have to actually create the pink elephant. You actually have to make a positive. That is how the genie works. People spend their entire time focusing on what they don't want. No idea how to communicate, because the genie is going to assume that is what you want. And now you're going to go, this is kind of silly. Think about it. The kid at Christmas, what did he want? And the second one? A surprise. A different communication which started up a different set of action with an entirely different result, because he changed a couple of words. And that is between people who understand. That's between people who actually understand. But if you can actually think about it, if you did come back with the Barbie, that's what's happening to you all the time. You're communicating and you're saying, what I want is a surprise. And you're getting a surprise. This is what I don't want. And you're getting, what are you getting? What you don't want. So let's actually have a look at how this plays out, because I'm going to try and make it real for you now. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back to our earliest hunter-gatherer days. And we're going to get two brothers. We're going to get Bog and we're going to get Trog. And Trog, well, Trog is going to come out, and he's going to look at the field. He's going to go, I don't like the look of this field. When is he, by the way, do you know what time he's going to get up? Lisa? No.
When he's cold and that early in the morning.
The darkest before the dawn. That's what woke up our great ancestors. It wasn't the light coming up, it was the cold. It was the coldest before the dawn. It woke people, and they got up and they stretched. Oh. And then the primary drive kicked in. Which one do you think it would be? I don't need to know what's going on in your houses, I have to say. It's great energy. Now, anyway, the one I was actually looking for there was they'd be hungry. Yeah? Can I eat it? I better get some food pronto, unless you're Lisa. You'll get to the food later. Now, the two boys go to the field. Trog goes first. Bog is back at the camp. Trog looks in and he goes, I don't like the look of this field. I reckon there's snakes in this field. I'm fairly sure there's snakes. This field looks like the sort of field that you'd have snakes in. Definitely looks like it. Definitely, I'm telling you now, looks like it. And he goes in. He takes his first tentative steps. Now I want you to think about this. He's going to be turning left. And he's going, I know there's feckin' snakes here. I'm sure that there's snakes in this field. Well, he walks down the field very carefully, keeping his eyes out all the time. Now, is he getting the chemicals at this point? Yes, thank you. Sorry, yes, that's an appropriate response. Absolutely, he's flooded with the chemicals. How's he feeling? Fearful. Why is he getting those chemicals? Danger. But think, maybe it's a tiger. Do you think it'll be useful that he can run away? Yeah, if you're full of adrenaline, can you run faster? Yes. Can you climb higher? Yes. Can you think quicker? Well, that's the norepinephrine, but yes. He's getting all these chemicals. He's not imagining it. The guy is shaking. He's going down and he's looking and he's looking and he's... And finally! Jesus, Barbara. I nearly gave you a heart attack. He sees a bloody snake. Well, out of that field, all them chemicals coursing through his veins, out of that field he comes racing. And what does he say? I knew it. Didn't I tell you? Yeah? Are you here with me? Didn't I tell you? There was snakes. See, I was right. Remember that. See, I was right. Now his brother Bog comes up about a half an hour later, and Bog looks into the field. Bog goes, that looks to me like a field with rich pickings. Oh, this is my very favourite type of field. Into the field Bog goes, and Bog is turning right. He's going, jeez, eggs on the ground. Does it get any better than this? I don't know how our ancestors carried their food. We'll imagine he's putting it in some kind of Jan Sport bag of the era. He's putting in the eggs and he's going, oh, they're berries. This is getting even better. Is he getting the chemicals that he needs? Absolutely. And he's picking, I'm going to go a bit further. I'm going to go a bit further. I'm going to go a bit further. He goes right up to the top of the field. And he turns and he comes back. He can hardly carry it. He's delighted with himself. And he comes back. What does he say? Didn't I tell you? Yeah, didn't I tell you? I knew that field. I knew that field to be great. I knew that field to be loaded down. Didn't I tell you? I was right. Was there a snake in the field when he went down? Yes. Was there opportunity in the field when Trog went down? If you're turning one way, and this is how you've been going throughout your life, the opportunities to change, to improve, because this is not just about weight loss. This can be any area of your life. The opportunities have always been there. You've just left them lying on the ground because you were too busy looking to the left to even notice what was on the right. This is why when people start to apply this, I don't mean know it, but start to apply it, they often come back to me and they kind of go, this is a little bit freaky. This is actually just feels a bit like magic or something. And it's not magic. It's not magic. The stuff has always been there. Think about it. You'll know people where you go, oh, your man, he's so lucky. Oh, he's so lucky. He gets all the breaks. If there's anything going, he gets it. I'll tell you now, anything he turns his hand to, he could turn his hand to it and he turns it to gold. Not like me. Oh, geez, I can't catch a break at all. If I have no luck, that's how we describe it. It's just he's turning one way. You're turning the other. And this is what people do, because the communication from the conscious this is danger. Limbic brain's going to do its job. Front of the brain's the steering wheel. Limbic brain is going to do its job. It's going to go to the genie. And the genie is perfect. It will always give you the exact right combination of chemicals to get the result it thinks you want. That is why every single time you will be able to come back and say, I was right, no matter which way. It will give you the perfect combination of chemicals that you need every single time. Some people will go up to the end of the field. So we'll think of our friend Trog, the second one. Which one was the first one? I can't remember. Bog is the second one. Bog goes up to the top of the field. And he gets there. And he comes to a fence. I don't know if they had fences in the olden days, but we'll assume they did. What that fence or bush represents is your mental blueprint of yourself. Because I have found even people who are pretty successful, and usually they'll be successful in one area of their life, like nobody, let's be frank, nobody's totally shite in every area of their life, are they? I mean, usually we're pretty good at a few things at least, but we're just not so good at something. But that's called your mental blueprint. Everybody has a mental blueprint of themselves. And people will often describe this, and they'll say, you know, oh, in my place there's a glass ceiling. That's your ceiling. That far and no further. I will do everything right up to that point, but I don't go any further than that. That is the end of your mental blueprint. Just want you to remember that, because I'm going to explain it in a few minutes. Now, let me tell you how we import this into the modern world. Pretty much everybody, most people at least, they walk down and they turn to the left. And they turn to the left a few times and they get fear and they run away. It's not pain. This is really important. Write this down. It is not pain that's causing Trog the problem, is it?
No.
He does not have the pain of a snake bite. He does not have snake venom in him. What's making him turn back? Fear. Fear. And fear is what's triggering the danger. Now let me tell you, people go in and they find that experience and they get to say, didn't I tell you, Mary? Didn't I, Mary? Didn't I tell you I was right? Didn't I told you I'd be right. And then what they do is, after a little while, they get to the end of the field and they go into a bloody coma. And they stop moving. Don't even try anymore. And that's called frozen with fear. It's the fear that's keeping them there. We think that can't happen. That's how most people are living. I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine. She's called Daisy, and she's a cow. And Daisy's a great cow. And the farmer, he brings Daisy the cow down to the field, and he puts a fence around the field. And around the fence, he puts a wire, and through the wire, he places a current. Now Daisy is looking out at all the animals, and she's seeing all the animals running wild and free. And Daisy's going, oh boy, I'd love some of that. Oh, I'd love to be out there frolicking. I'd love to be out there having a great time. Here I am in the center of this field. So she walks to the edge of the field, and she walks up to the fence. She puts her nose up against the fence, and bam! She gets a shock. And she runs back to the center of the field, to her comfort zone. This is where I'm comfortable. I don't need to feel fear if I stand here. I don't experience pain if I stand here. Well, the next day, Daisy wakes up, and she's a very brave cow. She goes down, she touches the fence again with her nose. Bang! Another shock. And she runs back to the center of the field and stays there for the rest of her life, looking out at the life that she could have had. Looking out at animals having the life she wanted to have. Rooted to her comfort zone, simply because of fear. See, in the modern world, most of our fear responses are completely and utterly outdated. We don't need them. We do not have a life and death battle every day. Yet that is the chemicals that you're still getting, and it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the modern world. See, fear is meant to be your counselor. Fear is meant to be your counselor. But for most people in the modern world, fear ends up being their jailer. And when fear is your jailer, you ain't ever going to get out. You're never, ever going to get away from that one. So guys, that's how this stuff happens. That's how this stuff happens. The chemicals that you get, the communication that you have, will always create the result that the genie thinks that you want. I'll give you another example of it quickly before I move on. The interview. You know, people are going for an interview, and they're going in. And before they go in, they go, oh, I'd say this job's already gone. There's no way I'm going to get this job. They'll get somebody much better qualified than me. I definitely won't get this one. They'd want more experience. They'd want somebody older. They'd want somebody younger. They'd want, you know the story. And you go in for the interview. Are you getting the chemicals? Oh yeah, you're getting the chemicals. You see, when you go the left side, you're always going to get the chemicals. Let's just have a look. What do the chemicals actually do to you? Because again, sometimes, because, you know, if you loved the baby when they put it on your belly after it was born, that's oxytocin. If you've ever been brokenhearted, that's chemicals. If you've ever been angry, that's chemicals. You are a bag of chemicals. Happiness, sadness, everything is chemicals. Everything that we experience is chemicals. The interview. What happens when the chemicals start flowing? Maybe I should answer. Well, one of the things that you're going to notice is as the adrenaline comes out of your body, you're going to have to run very quickly, very, very soon, so it's going to put your heart rate up. That's what it's actually doing. It's making your heart rate shoot up. And what's one of the symptoms of your heart rate shooting up? What does your body do to try and cool down? Sweat. So now, water comes pouring out of your shirt in front of the person interviewing you. As it comes out of your shirt, it comes away from your throat. You're now going, hello, I'm very happy to be here. As you sweat profusely through your shirt, down your face, through your hair, and you're a gibbering wreck. You're a gibbering wreck. And the fella's sitting there at the end when you're gone, and he goes, guys, I don't know about you, but do we have a need in the organization at the moment for a really sweaty guy? Seems very jittery and can't put two words together. Well, the answer's probably going to be no. But is that the person? That's the chemically induced version of the person. That's the chemicals they were running. Imagine they communicated that to the genie a different way. Do you actually see what's happening? When you think that's what, the genie doesn't have the power to reason, it doesn't do negative, it thinks that's what it is. As far as it's concerned, you're going into a den of vipers. It doesn't understand. It's automatically going to give you the chemicals you need to match the situation that you're telling it that you're going into. It's giving you life or death chemicals. You're sweating like a Northsider in a spelling contest. Is that all right, Helen? Am I getting away with that one, honey? I promised Sharon I'd be nicer, but I actually think I've done pretty well so far. That's what actually happens, guys. Now imagine we change the communication, and we go in and we go, oh boy, this is the job for me. This is the job, like definitely, I think they would be a brilliant place for me, and I think I'd be absolutely brilliant for them. I think they could really help me, and I think I could really help them. I've researched them, I know they know about me, and certainly I know I have everything that I need to do the job that they're looking for, and I feel confident, and I would love this opportunity. Now, when you get somebody coming in, sitting before you saying all this, I really think I'm, ideal for you, and I certainly know you're ideal for me. I will do everything I can to have my career here. This is why, this is what I've been doing. This totally different set of chemicals, isn't it? Full of norepinephrine, excited. I'm excited now. I'm here. And you come away, and what do people say? I like the cut of his jib. That fella seemed very enthusiastic, didn't he, altogether? Seemed very enthusiastic. And he was able to talk, and he was making sense. A good lad. I think we'd be interested in him. Genie is giving you the chemicals. The genie is giving you the chemicals to give you what it thinks you want. It is all about the communication. Actually, will we just have a go where we all switch off our phones? Because this is starting to turn into some kind of Morse code center. All I'm hearing is beeping. Are you all right, Ian? I can imagine your whole bloody camera thing being ruined with all the beeping going on. So guys, let's actually move on and start to talk about how to communicate. Will we do that? So we start with the what. The what. Are you scowling at me because I'm not being nice enough, or are you just, is that my eyes going as well? So we start our communication, and what I'm trying to teach you now is how to communicate effectively and eloquently with the genie. I don't even know what people to be laughing at. How to communicate effectively and eloquently with the genie. And this is the what, or the dream, or the wish, whatever way you want to call it. Guys, I tell you, dare to dream. Dream big. Enhance your dream. Make it bigger still. When I do that, and this should be falling in place for you now, when I do that on BodySlims, I get a crew of people come in the first night. They're all on the left-hand side of the room. And I have to get them over to the right. Oh, I've got to give up this. I don't suppose I'll be able to eat potatoes, will I? I'll have to cut back on the drink and all. Oh, nothing ever works for me. What chemicals do you think they're getting? I wonder why. I wonder why. Why does practically everyone who does a weight loss program fail? This is why. They're getting the chemicals. All I need to do is talk to them for a moment. Tell me about, oh, I'm sick of being like this. What do you want? I'll tell you what I don't want. I kid you not. That's what people, tell me what you do. I tell you, I just don't want to be like this anymore. The genie's just working away. He's just giving you the chemicals you want. And then you go, see, I was right. Didn't I tell you? Did I tell you that would be very hard? Didn't I tell you I fail at everything? That's what it is. Genie's working away. I have to try and get them over to the right-hand side of the room, to the opportunity, away from the danger and over to the opportunity. Because that's fear, by the way. That's fear. Fear of loss. Just wait till I tell you what I have to give up. That's actually fear of loss. I won't be able to go out that night. That's fear of loss. It's all fear. It's all fear. It's not the pain. Our old friend Daisy, she's held in that field by fear. Imagine if Daisy took that fence on the hoof. I don't know the weight of a cow. I presume it's about a half ton, maybe more. And she can get up to a fair speed. Bang! She's going to go straight through. So there's momentary pain for a lifetime's gain. She can actually break through the pain barrier. That's what we call the pain barrier. She can do that. But you know, if she keeps communicating that as a fearful message, fear, 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 oh, I better not. That's what we do. So, we'll start with the dream or the wish. So people will go, I need to lose weight. We're talking about BodySlims here, so I'll try and stay on topic. Remember, this can be used in any area of your life. Because I always say that, because you know, relationships with your significant other. I don't care how good it is, it can be better. Maybe not for you, Lisa, because you seem to be, you seem to have a fairly special relationship there. I am assuming it's your significant other that you're with when you're... Now, for the rest of us, you can have a better relationship with your significant other, better relationship with your kids, your friends, your family, better career prospects. You can take your business to the next level. There are all things that we can do. We can always change things. We can always make our lives better. No, I'm Mary Poppins. I'm practically perfect in every way. How's your humility, Mary? Now, the dream or the wish. I want to lose weight. I need to lose weight, whatever way you want to say it. How do we represent losing weight? I want to be 13 stone. I want to be 10 stone. I want to be, whatever it is, what is that called? Okay. A number. Who said a number? Go to the front of the class. That's a number. Oh, well done, Paul. Easy, you know, she's a school teacher. That's a number. Where do you think mathematics was created? Which part of the brain? Just take a wild guess. Front of our brain. I'll have to think about this. I'll have to think about this for a minute. Now, that is not going to get you 1 ounce of chemicals from the genie. Does not understand that at all. Makes no sense to it at all. How could we communicate it? How do I communicate it on BodySlims? How are you going to look? How are you going to feel? How are you going to look? How are you going to feel when you're an entirely new size? When you're in an entirely new shape? Feels slightly different, doesn't it? When you're back into those size jeans. Oh yeah, I'm smoking. Now, we can start the communication there. We can start the communication there. But if we go the other way, if we start with numbers, or we start going, well, I don't want to be, that's exactly what you are going to be. I don't want to be this. Well, tough luck, get used to it, because that is what you're going to be. You have got to be able to. Now, as I say, I do try and challenge that for people on BodySlims. And I'd like to think I get pretty much everybody to the right of the room. And some of the time, when I say some of the challenging things that I do say, there's a reason for it. Do you want to be over there? Do you want to be over here? It's to actually try and get people to mentally cross the room. Sometimes, there's always method to my madness. Another one, and this is really pertinent for you guys in the room here. I need to lose that last stone or that last stone and a half. And we all know, don't we? We all know that's the hardest. The last stone and a half. Yeah? No! Now, you see, there we go. Absolutely wonderful. What a wonderful community. Oh, yeah, we all know that. Yeah. And I was talking to Matilda the other day. That, by the way, is called calling in the troops. I was talking to Matilda the other day, and she said the same thing, funny enough. I said that last stone and a half, sure, it's so nearly impossible. Didn't I say it, though? Didn't I say before the bloody thing? Wasn't I right? I told you. There we go. That's what it is. That's exactly what's happening. Let's just knock that. Let's knock that on the head really quick. Because, you know, the doctors are saying this as well, aren't they? One of the things that your body does when you actually start to lose some weight is your metabolism. Well, it starts to slow down because your body doesn't know if it's a famine. So what it's actually trying to do, it's going into a reaction mode, it's bringing your thing down. So people, like, have a propensity to be fat these days. It's not that we're not doing our jobs. Let me knock that on the head straight away. So if you, okay, here's where it's right. If you come onto the program and you are 300 pounds, you need a certain number of calories every day to maintain that body mass. Yes?
Yes.
If you are now 200 pounds, a loss of 100 pounds, you do not need the same number of calories every day to maintain that mass, correct? Yes. If you want to lose further weight in the front of your brain, you don't need as many calories a day. What do you think you might do? Reduce your oh my God. Did you guys just figure that out in yourself? Maybe we should get it written up in the Lancet. The figures they base that on, the idea that your metabolism shuts down, that your body has a rebound and wants to hold on, are not based on people who get out and do that every day. Yeah, they're based on people who don't move their arse. Because yes, your metabolism will switch down. But if you were 300 pounds and you're now 200 pounds, and particularly if you're on my program, what's going to happen? You're going to be moving a bit more, aren't you? Yeah. You've got a bit more energy for life. You're a little bit fitter. You're out walking. Can you go a bit faster? I can. Yeah, I can. Can you go a bit further? Yeah, I can. The quickest way, and the best way, and the most effective way to switch your own metabolism back on is constant movement. Moving regularly throughout the day. So it's actually all nonsense. It's nonsense, but do you know what it is? People have it in the head. Let me tell you the other part. If you come in here and you go, oh, geez, I'm bulging. I haven't got a thing. I've one pair of pants that fits me. I hope this works because I cannot afford a new wardrobe. What's your motivation to succeed like? Pretty good, isn't it? So you come in here and you come to me and you're down 3 pounds. Sorry, 3 stone. You're delighted with yourself. And everyone you meet tells you a lie. They say, you're looking great. What do they mean? You're doing great. But they tell you you're looking great. And particularly if you're a man, do you know what you do? You go, I know. Like John Travolta I am. I'm going up to get fitted for a suit. I'm not kidding you. The men fall back in love with themselves terribly quick. Yeah? That's what actually happens. Yeah? So you have changed physically. You don't have the same pressure as you had. You have a stone to go to where you want to go. But you know the big stick that was baiting you? when you walked in. That's now gone, and psychologically, everyone you meet is going, you're looking great, you're looking fantastic. They mean you're doing fantastic. That's what they really mean, because you see, the greatest barrier to great is good. We get to good and we stop. And the reason I say this is great is the only permanent state. When you get to great, you won't go back. Michelle, 9 stone, is it? Just 9 stone down. Will you go back? Wild horses? You see, she can say that. I'm not sure if you should be clapping her or me here. You don't go back. You don't go back. You get to great, you don't go back. Great is a permanent state. No other state really is a permanent state. No other state is a permanent state. So guys, have we knocked that in the head for you? I always see this. You know the girls who come in, and by the way, if it's somebody online, not sure now I will put it up because you've been a pretty shit audience. Don't mind me saying. But anyway, if you are watching online, for anyone who's there and they're saying, oh, I get people, and it really annoys me. They come up and they sort of go, oh, I don't know, is it okay for me to be here? I've only like a stone to lose. And I go, you know, absolutely, of course. And the idea, if anyone ever says anything, they'll answer to me. Because I used to get that shit when I gave up drinking, when I was in AA at 23, and the people used to say to me, you couldn't really be an alcoholic, you're only 23. And I go, oh, so the vomiting bile, the vomiting blood, they've been told that I'm going to actually die shortly from this. The DTs, I mean, have you ever had the delirium tremors? No, I don't recommend you do. Like you go through what I went through and then come back and tell me, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I was just imagining it. That repulses me. I can't stand that. Best time to do something about weight is 1 stone. And you know what? Every single time we've had anyone who's come in like that, you know what? They knock it out of the park by about week 4. I promise you this. I'm always saying to them, will you stay around? Because there's a lot more to lose. And they're going, but I'm already through the stone. What happened? But when people are coming down from a greater number, change psychologically from the person that you were. Also changed a little bit physically. Knock it on the head right now, because the way you're communicating, we saw it right there, didn't we? Right at the start of that. What's the community? Oh, that last stone, oh yeah. Oh, is it ever hard? All the chemicals that I need to make that just so hard. Here's another one. I'll use this to demonstrate how we communicate as well. And these are all the whats. I want better health. I always say to you, this is a health plan. Now, this is a really, really interesting one. We should, who's guffawing there? We should all do everything for better health. It should be our main goal. But let me tell you this. We'll work a communication. You go down to your doctor and you sit in front of him and you say, hello, doc. And he says, tell me what it is. And you go through all the stuff and he does the things. And he says, well, I just want to tell you, if you continue the way you're going, sometime down the line in the future, you're definitely going to have a problem. I mean, it's very likely that you'll have a problem some stage in the future. So I advise you to make a change in your life right now. And if you do that, if you were to make the change, what we do know is in about 99% of the cases, the people who make that change, they don't have any problems down the line. And you go, thanks very much, doc. Thanks for that, really appreciate that. Do you know, I'm taking that, I'm good. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a good think about that. No, really and truly, thank you. I'm going to have a good think about that. Thanks, doc. Brilliant. Is that what we're going to do? Where do we do our thinking? Conscious. In the front part. Is that creating any chemicals? Not a one. Not a jot of a chemical. Let's change the communication. So we go back to this doctor in yay time. We sit down before him and he says, The bloods have come back. I've got the news. You've 3 months to live. I'm really sorry. And you go, I don't believe, oh, Jesus Christ. How did this happen? How did I get here? I can't. Doc, is there nothing? Is there nothing you can do? Is there clinical trials being run in North Korea that I could subject myself to? I'll try anything. And he says, because now, what way are you feeling? Are the chemicals being pulled? Yeah. Every chemical you have is now being released. The genie is pulling every single lever. You are now flooded. You are flooded with everything that you could possibly get. And you say, is there anything that you, nothing. And he goes, well, there is one thing, but such a low success rate. I don't even feel like mentioning it. And you go, you'll mention it right now, or there won't only be one person dying here today. Tell me what it is, right now. And he goes, well, in the case of people who looked after what they ate and went on a calorie-controlled diet and walked for an hour a day, so low, 1% of people survived and went on to have a long life. It's only 1%. It's hardly, why don't you just enjoy the 3 months? What would you do? Yeah. It hasn't even told you. Hasn't even told you exactly what to do. Don't read. Reasons come first. Answers come second. Just a reason. What's the... Ian, can you get the camera in there? And what we'll actually do, we'll put this phone up and we'll actually all talk to the person. And what we'll do is we're all going to shout, hey, fatty, at them at the one... Yeah, I definitely don't think I'll be putting this video online. So, I want to get better health. I go to the doctor. The doctor tells me, well, you got a problem coming down the line. In the future, what does the genie not do? Reason. The future, tomorrow, never comes. Only today. It's not pressing. It can't give you the chemicals. Can't give you the chemicals you want, so you don't take the action. And then you come back and you act all kind of surprised. And the doctor's probably sitting there being really polite going, well, I did bloody tell you. 99% of people will have no problem if they make some minor modifications to their life. But then when you come back, gives you a different set of statistics. Only 1% will actually save themselves. Hardly worth your while. Every chemical in your body is now flowing. You will. How many calories? Doesn't matter. I'll be on so low, I'll barely be eating. I'm not walking on I'm going up hills. I'm going up mountains. I am going to walk up, right up a cliff faces. I won't stop walking. I will do, and you will. And you will. Because that communication, remember, reasons come first, answers come second, action comes third. Our kid at Christmas, when he communicated effectively and eloquently what he wanted, we found out what we had to do, where we had to go, we created the plan, and then we took the action, and we got it. And exactly the same with this. So how do we do it? We start with eloquently describing our goal. Now, English is the weakest communication. English is the weakest communication. What is your goal? I don't know what your goal is. It may be to lose more weight. It may be to get fitter. It may be to get more mental fitness. It may be to get a better shape. It may be to get down in sizes. Well, if you have all of the above, what you're going to do is you're going to rate them for yourself. Yeah, start at 1 and all the way down. Not now. You can just write down what it is you're looking for. And I suggest you don't just use it in this area of your life. How many times have you been in a situation, be it a meeting or be it a relationship or something, where you've actually gone, how did this happen? How did I get here? Like, I'm talking now particularly to the men. Like, I seem to be in a row here, which I didn't intend to have at all. What kind of happened? Like, I came into the room to ask, was there a newspaper on the thing? And now yeah, because we're particularly bad at this. This is something called your reticular activating system. Reticular activating system. And this is what we got to wake up. So we do it with the goal. Let's write it down. Better relationship. Better career prospects. More money. Oh, that's always great. And then we start the communication. Now, did we find cave writings? Drawings. The genie is from a time long before writing. Drawing. Draw whatever it is you want. I don't mean with a pencil. I mean if you want to be a certain way, certain size, certain shape, get a picture of yourself when you were last that size. Yeah? Get a picture of yourself when you were last that size. And I continuously tell people, you got to dare to dream. You got to make it big. If it's not big, you ain't going to do it. Stop guffawing over there. If you're not making it big, you won't be inclined to take the action. Now, people will often come to me and say, well, you see, it's all well and good for them that are going back to where they want. But you see, for me, it'll be very hard. And the reason is, I've never been there. And that's, of course, true, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's bloody not. Absolutely not. Have you ever been to Egypt? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, for the rest of you, can you not go to Egypt? Is there some reason why you actually can't go? You've never been there before, yeah? But it's not actually a barrier to entry, is it? The fact that you haven't been there before is not a barrier to entry. It's actually a statement of fact, which is to say, I haven't been where I ever really wanted to be before. That's a different thing. It's a different communication. It's different levers. But when you start communicating that to yourself, I could never get there because I've never been there before. What do you think you're getting? Are you following this at all? Am I in the right place? You're getting the chemicals to make that happen. The genie will always give you the perfect concoction of chemicals that you need. So what would you do with this picture? Get a picture of somebody else and stick your bloody head in it. It's that simple. No, you'll go, well, that's just silly. That's just silly, isn't it? I mean, but you see, what we're trying to do here is communicate. All we're trying to do is send a message. Now you'll go, well, that wouldn't really work. Have you ever watched a horror movie? Yeah? Because they're very, very good at communicating with the back of your mind. They communicate right into your subconscious. They communicate and you're sitting there and you're, yeah? You're chewing your nails, you're at the back of the couch, you're every chemical in your body, every time the fellow with the bloody mask comes on the screen. Do you think it's real? No, you don't think it's real. The front of your brain is where you do the thinking. It's kind of weird because I know, really, it's made in a Hollywood studio. Like, so in the front of my brain, but the problem is in the back of my brain, these guys are really good at communicating with the back of my brain, and the feckin' chemicals are coursing through me veins, and I'm chewing the hands off myself. That's what's actually happening. You stick the picture, your picture, sorry, you stick your head on the picture. All you're trying to do is communicate. You're trying to go, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. I can't watch horror movies. Sharon loves horror movies. I can't watch them because I can't get chemicals because I'm controlling this stuff for so many years. It's going to come in here. Like, imagine I came in here at the start of the night and I went, hi, I'm going to show you how in 2 hours to change your life and have a life beyond your wildest dreams. I really hope you... Like, I mean, that's not really going to be very effective, is it? So I, at times, have to be able to release chemicals and control chemicals, because for the biggest part of my life, chemicals controlled me. Well, not the biggest part, thankfully, anymore. But for the first part of my life, chemicals absolutely controlled me. I had to learn the skill, and the only reason I became good is not because I'm bright, brilliant, clever, anything else. It was because I was so bad, and I wasn't going to survive. And like every single one of you, and that survival instinct, when you know you're going to die, you know you have to fight for your life. It's weird, you become good. You learn very quick. You do what it takes. So that's the picture. And the next one is the video. The video. We don't stop with the pictures. We create a video. And you create the video. I think they think you're creating the video, Ian, or something like that. It's certainly turned into a horror movie. Guys, if you're looking online, I apologize. There's very little I can do about the audience. I mean, I'm doing this for free. I don't know why. I think the bar actually closed early here tonight, and we got this kind of rabble came in. Next time we will have people on the door. Did I just say that or think it? We're going to create a video, and the video is going to be of you when you get where you want to be. Now, the problem with all this stuff, and this communication, it's got to be continuous. It's got to be continuous. It's got to be every day, because otherwise we forget. We don't mean to, but we do. We forget. We forget. We forget. I mean to. I'm going to. I'm definitely going. How have I got that pie in my hand? I don't even know. I definitely remember yesterday saying I was changing me, I was doing everything. I don't know how I ended up with the cake in my hand. It just seems to have got there by magic. We've got to communicate this on a daily basis, all the time. Now, for those of you who are with me, what do we do every day? Walk. 5 minutes of gratitude. Quickest way to change your state, move a muscle, okay? The quickest way to change your state and your chemical flow, it's what I'm doing all the time to you, is get you moving. The second is become grateful. What do you think is happening when I'm getting you to be grateful? Which side of the field do you think you're going to? Get you out of the left and into the right. We can all look at what we can't have, what I don't have. Wait till I tell you what Matilda has. Or we can go, do you know what I do have? Aren't I terrible lucky when I think about it? Aren't I know, but I'm asking questions all night and you haven't answered one. And finally, when it's rhetorical. So, I've lost my train of thought, Barry. What was I saying?
5 minutes of gratitude.
5 minutes of gratitude. We change our direction. We change the direction. And then 5 minutes of... Well, you weren't focusing. You were too busy talking. 5 minutes of focus. When do you think you should run the video? 5 minutes of focus. What do you want? How is it going to look? How are you going to look? And you run this repeatedly. The better you are at making this video, and you don't just do it during your focus, you can do it all the time. If your boss is here, do it at lunchtime. If your boss isn't here, do it in work. I mean, do it as often as you can. You see, this is the power to dare to dream. This is what a dream actually is. It's a daytime dream, is what you're actually trying to do. And I talk about dare to dream all the time. I'm going to give you 2 examples of people who dared to dream. And the first was an Albanian nun. An Albanian nun. And her name was Sister Teresa. And she was the headmistress of a school in India. And had been for years. She was in her 40s. One night she went to bed. And she had a dream. And in that dream, she was told she should go out and help to feed the poor and to look after the sick. That was the reason. Remember, reasons come first. She didn't know how to do it. She didn't have any training for this. She found the answers, and the rest is what? What? Fiction. No, it's actually action. Sorry, I thought you said fiction. The rest is history. She became known as Mother Teresa. And another person. Christina Noble. What an incredible lady. Christina Noble was living in Birmingham, and she saw a report. It was after the Khmer Rouge and the thing in Vietnam. On the news, BBC News. And she saw it, and she went to bed and she had a dream. And her dream was that she should go and do something. She woke up, and sometimes that's what happens with dreams. They seem very, very real. And that was the reason. Now, this was remarkable, because you see, when you have a dream, it's like a compulsion. Gets you out of bed, keeps you up at night. You're certain you're going to get there. You've got to get there. She actually had to make it happen. How did Christina Noble communicate that to herself? Let's see, did she turn left? Well, I was an abused child. I was in an orphanage, wasn't it? I was mistreated in that. In fact, in every part of my life, up to the husband she had at the time, she'd been mistreated and beaten. And what special skills did she have? None. Not hardly any schooling at all. What contacts did she have? Was she hobnobbing with all the journalists in town? Was she working with all the politicians? No. So, you see, she could have sat there and said, well, Jesus, with the life I've had, haven't I done well just to be standing? And sure, it couldn't be down to me. Sure, what skills do I have for that? Sure, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know who to talk to. I wouldn't know where to go. I've never been to Vietnam. I couldn't go to Vietnam. I've never been to Vietnam. I've never been to Cambodia. How could I go there? I've never been there. She could have said all that, couldn't she? But she didn't. Because she had a dream. She had a dream and she'd seen it. The reasons came first. She found the answers. We all find the answers because we all get the chemicals that we need to match. That's all. The chemicals will always be a perfect match. You create the video. You create the video. The better you make the video, the better it's going to be. So how about this? How about I want to look sexy? Is that too big an ask? Yeah? Yeah. That's it. Okay, there you go. Wonderful. No, brilliant. Dream on. What's the communication? Yeah, never gotten there. No, never got. No, dream on. Yeah, dream on. That'll be lovely, but not for me. That's what you got to get. Because when you release those chemicals, that's exactly it. You will never get there. You've got to be able to release the chemicals. And the reason I say sexy is, how does sexy feel? Kind of good, yeah? Exciting. It's actually quite a strong release of chemicals, and I am bringing sexy back. Now, it's a very strong release of chemicals. Remember what I said? I mean, would you prefer to bring sexy back? Or go, you will have better health over the next 5 years? One doesn't release a hell of a lot of chemicals, does it? Bringing sexy back. Now, how would you do that? Well, what you have to do is you have to see the picture. And whatever the picture, I don't care what you wear. Like, I'm not an outfit, I'm not Gok Wan. I'm not going to be going, I think leather for you. What you got to be able to do, you've got to be able to see you. If that's the one you're going to use, how good are you going to look? Most importantly, how good are you going to feel? How good are you going to feel when you're there? Stop looking at me like you're surprised. I'm talking to you. How good are you going to feel when you're there? You don't have to tell me. You have to tell you. You have to tell you. The more real you can make it, the better it's going to be. If you can make it a video where you walk into a place, your hair is done, your makeup is done, you're looking absolutely fantastic. Everybody's turning to look at you when you come in. And if you can know that's where you're going, if you can know that's where you're going, and you can feel it, and it excites you, you will feel a tingling in your toes. You will feel your heart rate starting to go up. If that is your why, because these are the whys. We've done the what. This is the why. You see, I'll come to one in a minute, but that's your why. I'm not saying it has to be your why. I'm just using that one. If that's your why, if you get those chemicals, when you actually think about it, remember, dare to dream. Let's communicate effectively. Dare to dream. This is where I'm going. Know with certainty that you're going to get there. Why are you going to get there? Because the genie is going to give you the chemicals that you need to take the action. And here's the rub. The chemicals that you will feel when you are there, which is what I'm talking about now, are the exact match of the chemicals that you need to get there. That's why pretty much everybody fails. Will I say that again for you? Thought you might. I'm actually starting to wake up now. He's after saying something important, I think, there. The chemicals that you will feel, that you will be releasing when you're there, are the exact same chemicals as you need right now to get you there. Kind of bizarre, isn't it? Kind of bizarre. But it's also true. If you come up with a why and you don't get a tingle, it ain't going to work. An effective communication, you have to accurately define the why. You've got to know why. Why do you want it? Now, I'm not saying everybody's got to be sexy. Obviously, I am. But not everybody may be. How about being a perfect role model? How about being a perfect role model for your kids? How about, there's a lot of people shaking their head now, go back to sexy, will you? Yeah. How about being a perfect role model? But let's make it real. What about the day when your kids come up to you and they go, Mom, just want to say, I know everybody says they have the best mother in the world, but You know, I really do. And I'll tell you why. Because I saw you battling adversity. I saw you come through that. You taught me how to take on challenge. I saw you for years and years and years struggle to the day you finally washed your ears and listened to your man, the weight whisperer. And then I saw you overcome challenge. I saw what you could do. And you know what? You've instilled in me an appreciation for what to eat, an appreciation for health. And I feel so good, and I feel so good that I'm going to be able to pass that on to the next generation. Maybe that's your why. No, sexy? Yeah? No. Not great mothers, Sharon. Not great mothers in this group. Yeah. In other words, if you feel that, this is all about a feeling. It's all, the whole purpose of this is to create the release of the chemicals that you need. Remember, that is what we're trying to do. We're sending a message. We are trying to send a message. Are we going to ask for Robbie the robot, or are we going to ask for a surprise? You're asking for a surprise.
No, I'm asking for Robbie the robot. I asked for a surprise the last time, and I didn't come after week 1.
All right. What? Robbie the robot. That's what we're looking for. Robbie the robot. We've got to accurately define what it is that we want. We've got to create a picture of it. We've got to create a video of it. We've got to know with absolute certainty that we're going to get it. And when we see that video of it, it's got to release the chemicals, because the chemicals that you're going to feel when you get there are the exact same chemicals as you need to get there. How about when you get compliments? You like getting compliments? You like when people come up to you and go, "You're looking amazing." How about this? Do you want to inspire people? No, I have to say, you're a particularly unsociable group. No, I want to do it all myself. I'd like to get it. In fact, I'm quite happy not to inspire anyone. I will look even better by comparison. I have absolutely no desire to help anybody other than myself. If it doesn't fill you with tingles, you're not doing it right. Do it again, and do it again, do it again. Make it bigger. Make it sexier. Whatever you got to do. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it until you release the chemicals. And when you do, lock in on it. Lock in on it, and every single time you got to get the feeling, and you keep going till you get the feeling, because the feeling is the release of the chemicals. It's the release of the chemicals, and that's what you need on a daily basis. You're always going to get to be right. Now, I have down there your business. Obviously, it can be your career, it can be your relationships, it can be whatever. I'm just trying to stay on topic, yes? But quite often when I do seminars and I talk to people and I say, you can take your business to the next level. And they go, oh, that's what I want. Yeah, I want to take my business to the next level. More money. Yeah, and I'll get more money and that'll be blah, blah, blah. And you go, get to this point. And they're really good at defining accurately what they're going to get. There'll be new pinstripe suits. They can see the video and everything. And then you go, why? And they go, now that I think about it, I'm not really sure why I want that. In fact, the more I think about it, I don't think I do want that at all. Like, I already have enough. Like, what difference will it make to your life? How is it going to give you more chemicals? If you already have more than enough, what are you going to do with the rest? I'm going to keep it in a drawer. Oh, that'll make me feel good. If you can't get the chemicals from it, it's not really going to be a goal. Not really. It's not easy to communicate that one. Like, it's very different when you don't have anything. Like that fecker, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. all the people there reading it going, Jesus, I invested a $5 I didn't have, and you're not even telling me how to get it. Jesus, I'll have to eat the book because I don't have the $5 for me lunch. It's not that, but try and understand that, the why. The why. If there's no why, you ain't going to get there. If there's no why. I mean, if you're short and fat, I'm very proud of that. That was like Winnie the Pooh. Remember Winnie the Pooh? That's what he used to say. I'm short and fat and very proud of that, if I remember correctly. He used to say it to Tigger. Now, the point being, he didn't have much reason to change, did he? He was kind of very happy with them. I'm not coming out hunting people to tell them they should lose weight. Yous are coming in here, hunting it. Like, let's get this straight. Now, if you're there going, well, I'm rotund, but I like myself. Cool. That's grand. You don't have a why. I'm not going to give you one. Like, I'm not going to give anybody a why. It's up to you. But if you don't have a why, you won't get the chemicals, you won't get the result. If you do have a why, and the why is strong, the why releases the chemicals, what will you get to say at the end? Oh, see, didn't I tell you? What happened that night I listened to him? That night I listened to him, and he said, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you it was all different for me? I told you. I wasn't, what was I? I was right, wasn't I? You will always be right. You have always been right. Because you're always going to get the perfect concoction of chemicals for what the genie thinks you want. We cannot resist the chemicals. By the way, once the chemicals are flowing, you can't resist them. No one can. You cannot beat the chemicals. You can't do it without them. And when you get them, you're either going in the right direction or the wrong direction. That's all from the conscious. That's the steering wheel. It's the only power over this you got. But if once you get the chemicals, you're done. You're gone. So, that's the what. We know the why of the communication. You all understand this? Yeah. I don't believe you. But anyway, I'll move on because I have to finish. And that takes us to the how. I kind of feel like I'm back in the India movies. Reasons come first. Answers come second. Now, while I am absolutely and utterly encouraging you guys to use this in other areas of your life, to set yourself challenges, to enhance your goal, you can do this in more than one area. Somebody actually said it to me, all of the above. You can have different things, but what I want you to do is prioritize them. The more you can see the videos of them, yeah, after you're out and you've run the video, what's the action that you can take today? Now, if you've run the video, you've got the chemicals, you're going to have the feeling, you're going to be excited. That is the time. You'll always find the answer. That's the time you'll always find the answer. You'll know what to do, but you do it every day. Sharon, are you recording what I'm doing here? Because I don't know whether you're aware. Do you see your man in the black shirt? Like, I am actually paying him he's one of the country's top cameramen. I am paying him a fortune. And you're down the back with an iPhone, going, pointing it at me.
I'm actually sending it to someone I want to hear.
Oh.
I just ruined it now.
Sorry, Ian, I hope you don't feel like, I hope you don't feel insulted or anything. Oh, they had a backup person in place. I went in there, but there was a girl over there. She looked like she knew what she was doing with that iPhone. I'll tell you, my 20 grand's worth of kit didn't compare to the iPhone. Now, I am encouraging you to do this for yourself. And this is, the gift. As I say, on BodySlims, I do this for you. I lead you. I tell you what you can get. I tell you how you can be. I'm effective at communicating with that part and creating the chemical flow. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with you again right now. Even though I'm encouraging you to use it in other areas of your life, I want you to get the most out of the next BodySlims. So I'm going to use something I call the aeroplane model. The aeroplane model. And this is, now it does depend on the distance, but it's going to fly. An aeroplane uses up about 80% of its fuel on takeoff. Yeah? Very hard to get up. It kind of should make sense. Think about it. It's very hard to get up in the air. It's a big lump of a thing, isn't it? Very hard to get it up in the air. Once it gets up in the air, into the rarefied atmosphere, what do you think is happening? It's gliding. It's gliding along. But trying to get up to that altitude, well, that isn't so easy. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the aeroplane model. 3 for 2. I know you love 3 for 2. Every time I go into a supermarket, it's 3 for 2. I don't want 3. What am I meant to do? It's actually annoying. I don't like throwing food out. My dog is starting to get heavy from giving her all the extra 1s and 2s out of the bloody 3 for 2. But it's a different type of 3 for 2. For 2 weeks, I'm going to give you a new plan. And you're going to do it from the day you come back to start. Because the truth is, and the biggest barrier to your success, and I'm talking specifically to you guys in the room, is you think you know it all. And you don't have the same pressure on you as you had at the start. So that is a dangerous concoction, my friends. And you know what you're going to mean to do? You're going to mean to start. I was definitely going to start, but then what happened was, yeah, Sally was going, so what I said is definitely from week 2. From week 2, oh, I was going to. No, you weren't. No, you were. And then, you see, he said what happened was he was putting us on this special plan, and it was going to be very hard for me because, like, I knew I wouldn't be able to do this just at that moment in time. Because I had a going away, I had a communion, we were going here, I did. What do you think the result's going to be? Getting all the chemicals that you need there, aren't you? 3 for 2. For 2 weeks, no exceptions, no excuses, don't want to hear. You're going to do what I tell you. I'm giving you a choice. This is called Keep It Simple, Stupid. 3 for 2. 3 choices, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Snacks there as well. You can change them, etc., as you need. We're keeping it really simple. Number 1 is the best choice for each meal. Number 2, second best. Number 3, still okay, but it's the 3rd. Number 1, do I need to say that again? Yeah. Number 1 is the best. Number 2, second best. Number 3, surprisingly, is the 3rd best choice. For 2 weeks. And this is going to allow you to get back to cruising altitude. This is going to allow you to get right back up there. It's going to allow you to get back onto the plan. Because it's weird. Once you get there and you start getting the results and you start getting the chemicals that the results are starting to give you, and you're doing the walking and you're getting the chemicals and you're doing the thinking and you're getting the chemicals, now we have the flow. Now you're gliding. Now you're gliding. Because it does kind of become effortless, doesn't it, Jackie? Yeah. When you're getting this stuff, it actually does start to become effortless after a while. And people who get the biggest results will always say that. Start to feel effortless. Because they're gliding. So that's where I'm trying to get you to. Now, there's 2 ways, as I say, you can communicate that right now. The first way, we go to the left side of the field. Well, there's no way I'm going to be able to not drink for those 2 weeks. No way at all. Sure, I have a night out with the girls. I have a night out with the girls on Saturday night, and then I was to go out with himself. Sure, it's our 3rd anniversary of the 2nd time we kissed in front of a cinema. I mean, who could not celebrate that? This is going to be very hard. No, this is a bad time for me. Yeah, no, this is a bad time for me. This isn't going to be too easy at all. I'm not going to find this. I don't imagine this is going. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, you're going to fail. You're going to get the chemicals. All you're doing is concentrating on why. Yeah? You're coming up with it, you're getting the chemicals, and you're going to get to say at the end of it, but I was right. Didn't I told you going home that night? Didn't I tell you going home was a very bad time for me? I shouldn't have signed up for the thing. I don't know why I did it all. Said it. I was right. Zone in on her, Ian. Zone in on her. I'm going to finish now, don't worry. And the people on the other side. Because this is what we do all the time. By the way, I won't be able to drink. What's that? Which? Fear. Who said fear? Fear. That's fear. Fear of loss. This is going to be very hard. They're all going to be fears. Remember danger, limbic brain, triggering the response, strongest chemical release in your body. You are dead in the water. You're destined to failure. The genie has no idea. It can't reason. But it does know tomorrow never comes. It only lives in today. And that's why I want you to embrace this. And the people on this side of the room, the good guys, on the right side of the room. It depends where you're. Not from where I am. The people on the right side of the room, they're going, Jesus, I really didn't think, but it made sense what he said, that thing about the last stone, because that's where I am, that last stone, that last half stone. Jesus, could I really be sexy? Because, like, is he talking pencil skirts and high heels? That's just for the fellas. Before Christmas, going into a bar, going to that office Christmas party, I heard everybody looking at me. Jesus, wouldn't that just be fantastic? I don't care what your fantastic is. I don't care what your why is. Once it gets your chemicals flowing. But let's extrapolate that on in all seriousness, and we're trying to have a little bit of a laugh. Let's extrapolate that. And the person on the left-hand side, we meet them a year from now, and we go, how are you doing? And they go, well, I went onto that program and it definitely was the wrong time for me because I had a few things to do and I knew it would be hard. And then the people who had done it right, they were able to do the truth and they seemed to be getting the results and I wasn't, and I just started to feel bad about myself. I was feeling a bit down in myself. In fact, I'm still feeling a bit down in myself. And how's your weight? Well, I'm actually a stone heavier. It's not really funny, because this is actually the pattern that people follow. I'm actually a stone heavier than when I started. I'm feeling terrible about myself, because you know what? I saw all the other people succeeding. What's wrong with me? I can't catch a break. What is it about me? And the person on the other side is going, I didn't believe when he said about that last stone and a half. I could, you know, and it was that night and I said I would try. I would just dare to dream. I wasn't even sure I could really get it, but I actually went through the process and I put it into place. It's a year later, look at me now. Got rid of the husband. I've got a young fella. No, in all seriousness. No, not in all seriousness. He's sitting beside you. You see, these are moments of decision. But they don't just create different outcomes. They create polar opposite stories. On the one hand, you have somebody happier, better, more successful, feeling $1 million. On the other hand, you have somebody feeling depressed, desperate, all the wrong chemicals. So guys, to finish, the moments of decision define your life. And I hope tonight I have explained to you in some way what's happening at a biological level, yeah, the biology of what's actually taking place. And what you need to know is be very, very careful what you wish for, because you will get it. You always have been getting it. Get your communication right. Make sure you communicate eloquently and accurately what you want, and it's got to be the fullest of communication. You are practiced in this skill. You are excellent at this skill. You don't have to learn a new skill. You've always been right when you've got the chemicals. The only thing you need to change is the communication. The smallest bit. So guys,
Sorry, Darren, can I just ask, you said that we had
I tell you what, after Rachel, you come up to me after and to ask me, okay?
There's something that you said about 3 options, and I don't think you gave us the 3 options.
I'm going to give you the 3 options on the night. I don't want you starting now. I'm going to give you this on the first night, the 3 for 2. I'm going to give it to you when you start. I don't want you starting early. I just want you in the right mental place. I want you in the right mental place to know that's what you're going to do. So this is the time you suffer. This is the time you suffer going, what's it going to be? So guys, are we ready to make BodySlims? The best BodySlims we've ever had. I really hope that's helped you. And for those of you who do apply this, I promise you, it will feel a little bit like magic. You can have absolutely anything. Let me be really clear, because you guys should have some belief in me at this stage. You can have absolutely anything you want in your life if you learn how to accurately communicate it. Absolutely anything. Once again, I'll finish on this. Be careful what you wish for, because I promise you this, you will get whatever you wish for. Thank you very much indeed.